I actually don't like putting the word sustainability in front of anything. So, you know, sustainable investment. There's actually investment that's either sustainable or it's not. There's either strategy that's sustainable or it's not. We've got issues with transparency, we've got issues with data, and we've got issues with measuring, is it doing what it says it was going to do? And I think that's stifling investment flowing at scale. That's why we built the monitoring layer first. So now I'm saying that, you know, if you're making investments and you're not looking at a social, economic, and environmental holistic lens on any investment, whether that's in a company or a project or anything, even philanthropically, that the chances of that going down and going badly just increases exponentially. And so, but if you can get the balance of that, it is helping, you know, people, profit, and planet all together, the increase of that return is massive, and the gift that keeps on giving after that is also massive. And you've changed behavior in that value chain. So that's my philosophy, is that, you know, we're just going to have to, everything's going to have to be sustainable. Technology is going to have to be sustainable. Strategy is going to have to be sustainable. Investment's going to have to be sustainable, because if not, you're putting yourself at risk, you know, and not only yourself, but the world around you as well.
Sustainable investment is becoming increasingly important, and it is wasn't really something that was being discussed until relatively recently, but it is becoming an important issue. It is something that all trustees are now looking at, and we're there to advise as best we can on that. It's a fast-moving subject, and there's a lot that is being debated. And so I think the demands on trustees are considerably more than they were, and therefore proper, truly independent advice, external advice, is something that is required.
Yeah, so the biggest challenge that we've always faced, and I see it all the time, is from whether you're a micro company, whether you're a very sophisticated multinational, whether you're a government official, it's like, where do I start? You know, I want to do it. My heart is for transformation. My heart is for sustainability. I get it. I see the upside of it, but I don't know where to start. And that's really, again, why the philosophy of we building a platform that can help any organization. And to me, you know, if you have no knowledge of this, it's even actually better for us, because we can leapfrog you to best practice today. And back to I've got this gym analogy, you know, coming into a sustainability gym, you don't need to know anything about the equipment, you need to know how to do the program, but just making that step into the gym. And even if you sit in the cafeteria for a bit and have some coffee and communicate with others, that's a good start. But just the willingness to change and to make that, to become more sustainable, that's the first step. The heart, the will. If you do that, and then if we can allow us to baseline you, tell you where you are today, because if we don't know where we are, we don't know what to do, right? We don't know what steps to take. So that's, again, back to the gym. Get on the scales. We're going to baseline you and help you. And we can handhold you as much as needed. And then from there, we start monitoring it. We start monitoring, we help you with what metrics you need to use, what program you need to go on to improve. And then once you're able to do that, once you're able to prove those sustainability credentials, and even vulnerably, you know, I say leadership is vulnerability and courage together. So the vulnerability is as important, to say, look, I haven't got it right, I don't know, but I'm willing to be transparent about it, and I'm willing to know where I am today so that I can make that change.
When we look at the current situation and the challenges that charity trustees are facing, I think they're coming from various different dimensions, but I would probably say that the last 3 or 4 years have been quite extremely challenging. So if we look back in the past, about 30 years of prior to the recent few years, we had inflation relatively low and relatively stable, and returns from most assets were above the longer-term historical average, which ultimately means that you could do almost anything within reason with your investments and still achieve this target of inflation plus 4%. And trustees could comfortably distribute from their portfolios without being concerned that the value of their endowments are being eroded or are not being preserved in real times, which is even more important. Now, as you adjust these values for inflation, then the shock of inflation in the last 2 years immediately means that there are much more demands on this real capital preservation. And so the other group of challenges for trustees is coming from our group into reputational risks. And that is a combination of it's a number of socially important topics. We had climate change as a major issue, which still remains a major issue. Then had various aspects of equality, social justice that are on everybody's radar, and inevitably they get into the charities' considerations as well. The rise of social media and general call for transparency. If anything is misaligned, that might create a major reputational risk for a charity.